Welcome to the call, everyone. My name is Dr. Kurt Fisnick, and this is the Sisel World Team Testimonial Call. And thanks for being with us tonight. Thanks for participating. We've got a couple of great testimonials, and the call will probably be short tonight because I'm having a little technical difficulty getting everybody on the call. It's not letting me let people in. So, Sisel has some of the best products I've ever seen in my 32 years as being a physician. I can really honestly say that it's exciting to see the results that we're getting with these types of products. And my son, my youngest boy, back here a couple of years ago, Zach, what was it, 3 years ago that you were diagnosed?
Spring 2016.
Spring 2016. So folks, 2.5 years ago, my son went to get his eyes checked so he could get his driver's license. And Zach, I'm going to hand the phone over to you. I'm going to hand the microphone over to you. And if you could share a little bit about kind of what they told you and what that news, how did it make you feel? And then give us a little history on what's happened in the last few months.
Absolutely. So like my dad said, back in spring 2016, I was in my my last semester of college. I started noticing a lot of floaters in my left eye. Honestly, I didn't really think much of it. I thought I just had gotten some dust or a hair in my eye, something like that. A few weeks went by and the floaters started getting worse. In classes, I kept distracting myself. I was just fixated on it. I would close one eye and switch over to the other, and I started noticing my vision was actually starting to get blurry. Now, I'd been pretty lazy about updating my glasses prescription, so honestly, I thought that's all it was. I thought I'd go in, get some new glasses, maybe they'd give me some eye drops, and I'd be on my way. I went in, they put that lens machine up to my face to test my vision. My right eye hadn't really changed much since my last exam, but when I moved over to my left eye, he couldn't find a lens that would correct it. He put some drops in to dilate my eyes. I used a light and microscope to stare through my pupils. He told me he thought that it was retinal pigmentosa. He explained that this was a really rare disease, and he really hoped he was wrong, but it had every indication so far. It was going to take about 15 minutes for my eyes to fully dilate, so he had me sit out in the lobby as they took effect. Before they did, I hopped on Google. The article that I pulled up before getting called back in said that retinal pigmentosa ends in blindness. Now, I'd just spent the last 5 years studying public relations and sign language interpretation. My plan was to travel around the country and go around establishing deaf community outreach programs at different vacation destinations. And I thought I had it all figured out. I was going to be living the dream, and now I was going blind. He referred me to a retina specialist. He was just some Walmart doctor, so no way he really knew what he was talking about. Retinal pigmentosa is a hereditary disease. No one in my family has vision problems. It really didn't make any sense. I had an appointment with the specialist the next week. They had me stare into cameras, shining a series of bright lights in my eyes, and they kept telling me to open my eyes wider. The doctor explained this last test that he was going to run was going to prove whether I had it or not. One of the main symptoms of retinal pigmentosa was tunnel vision. So this machine was just going to measure my field of view. After the test, he had me go back in his office, and he said I had it. Without shadow of a doubt, I had it. He explained there's a more definitive test out in Minneapolis, out at the U of M, but that would just be a waste of time. I had it. He prescribed a steroid eye drop that was supposed to reduce the swelling in my retina, and that was going to prevent the blurry vision from coming back. Every 8 hours, regardless of time of day, I was supposed to be taking these drops. They were typically used for glaucoma. They stung, they made my nose run, and left a pretty bad taste in my mouth. We never had vision problems in our family. It really didn't make any sense. My dad and grandpa drove me out to the U of M, took that definitive test he was talking about, and the results actually came back negative. Went back, and the specialist explained that every other indication was of retinal pigmentosa, so I just had an odd case of it. And it's a pretty terrifying thing, thinking you might wake up one day and not be able to see. I had a lot of big plans for after I graduated, but I honestly couldn't think of what my next step was going to be after that. The plan had always been to move out here to Spokane, Washington. Best friend was stationed here for the Air Force, so I started doing some job hunting. Seemed pretty difficult from a distance. So August 2016, I made the move out here. Lived on base with the Merritts for a month while I interviewed around town and found an apartment, got established. Went to a specialist that the Fargo guy had recommended for me out here. New doctor had an assistant dilate my eyes and read through my file. He looked through a microscope, took some pictures, and told me the other doctor was an idiot. I guess this diagnosis should have been thrown out immediately after that test at the U of M. He ran through a list of things that might be going on, but he ended by saying, to me, it just looks like some inflammation. I bet you're pretty relieved it's not going to end in blindness. And man, my dad got me on a double dose of the age pill after that, and you know, the floaters, I get them every now and again, not nearly as bad as they were, and they're definitely clearing up. And you know, it's pretty odd. There's so many simple things that we take for granted each day, but I can see, and I am pretty fired up about that.
Yeah. So you're still taking the double dose of the age pill and noticing that it's getting better all the time?
Absolutely. Yeah, last week was the first week that I actually went a full week without having any floaters. So I noticed a couple in the mornings this week, but yeah, no, they are definitely going away.
That's exciting. I posted on Facebook a study that showed that the ingredients in the age pill actually help get rid of retinosa pigmentosa. So even if you had that, even if the doctors made a mistake, we have something to help you with that. Well, Zach, I know you got to get back to work, so thanks for taking a few minutes out and sharing your story and how you're getting better with it. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys.
All right. Have a good night.
You too.
You know, so folks, there's a story, a young guy and was having trouble with his eyes and started getting better. I've got a couple of other testimonials, and these are recordings. So hang on one second while I bring these up. I'm going to play them for you. Here's the first one, and this one is from Tracy.
Hi Tracy, thanks for joining us today. Hi Katie, how are you? I'm very well, and thank you for having me. Great, thank you. So we're really excited to hear your story today. So you've been using Sisel's product called Fucoidin, and yeah, if you could just tell us a little bit about your experience. Okay, so towards the end of last year, I noticed I had a small mole growing near the corner of my eye, and I just thought it was one of those age things, and I was going to land up with quite a probably I wouldn't like it, a little bit of a mole on the corner of my eye. Mm-hmm. And after a little, it seemed to be growing bigger, and it was a little bit irritating just because of the position, like when you take sleep out of your eyes and things like that. Mm-hmm. And sort of, I thought I had read on the question and answers page and product testimonials about the use of the Fucoidin topically, Right. So I thought, oh, I'll just give it a go, and started for a couple of days dabbing it just on top of the little mole. And then I don't know, maybe it took a week. And not consistently dabbing, not daily dabbing. It just went really when I thought about it. And then I sort of one day I was driving to work and wiped the bleep out of my eye, and virtually it just came off. Wow. So I was really, really happy, and sort of a very good testimony for the products and also for the use of the clothing topically. And then probably 2 weeks ago, I thought I had a bit of a pimple on my bum, and a friend told me it would look like a little bit of an ulcer sore, and she said, oh, I don't like the look of that, and took a photo and, to show me and everything. And then I thought, okay, try again, use the Sequoian topically. Within 2 days, it was gone. And, no more sort of sore sensation of, obviously something else must have a little bit infected, especially in an area where it's not visual to you. Didn't really know what it was, so that was excellent. Oh, wow. And you took a photo of the one next to your eye. So how long did you say that took to go away, like before it got well, from the time I felt that it either it was growing or it was coming away. I don't know, just from, I'm on lots of Sisel products for my health, more for prevention and things like that. And whether it was growing, I'm not too sure. I didn't go to a doctor or anything like that, but it was definitely like a brown mole. It wasn't a pimple or a sty or anything like that. It was, and I've got photos of it when I took this morning for the testimony, and one that I had just from trying to have some, we took ugly shots when we first started the age pill. To have something to reflect on, down the track. So it's from, back in September, I think. So, yeah, very happy. Okay, great. All right, well, thank you for sharing your testimonial. I really appreciate it. Okay, lovely. Thank you, Katie. Bye.
So there's another, just a great testimonial. People having improved health, and I've got one more for you tonight, and so I'd like to play this testimonial. Hang on one second.
Hi, my name's Sandy Biltoft. I've been using the age pill now for about 14 months, and I've found a significant difference with my back pain because being a hairdresser, I get very, a lot of back pain in the shoulders and neck. So I've found it significantly dropped my back pain. Also, I included the Sisel Ripped as well, so that even more so I have no pain at all. Before I started the age pill, I used to get ulcers on my eyeballs, and no specialist could tell me why I would get them. I would get them every 4 to 6 months. Always thought maybe it was something to do with hairdressing. But since I've been on the age pill, I've found I have not had one. So before I got on the age pill, I used to get the Eternity, and I would soak it in an iPad and put that on the eye and leave it overnight, and I would wake up and most times the ulcer would be gone. But since I've been on the age pill, I've found I haven't had to do that. So it has really helped me with my back pain and my ulcers on my eyeballs. And I'm sure it will help a lot of other people. Thank you.
Thanks, Sandy, for sharing that testimonial. Just another great story of what it's done. I had a couple other testimonials lined up for tonight, but I changed formats with this with Zoom, and I'm unable to get them on the call tonight. So, I'll just share with you my own little story, and we'll knock the call off just a little bit short tonight. But I go to a lot of anti-aging seminars. I go to age reversal symposiums, and it was 2.5 years ago. I attended a workshop down in Florida, the anti-aging medical group seminar, and they were talking about nicotinamide riboside, and they were talking about alpha lipoic acid, and they were talking about how the combination of these would somehow stimulate the stem cells to come back to life. And as we know, the stem cells in your body, the easiest way that I have to explain it is think of it like the Maytag repairman. There, it's your repairman that fixes the appliances in your body, and your eyes and your heart and your digestive system. Think of them like appliances, like your microwave, your dishwasher, your refrigerator, your washer, dryer, and they quit working. And so you call in the Maytag repairman to come in and fix things, and that's what the stem cells are. And as you age, you naturally lose stem cells. When you're young, you have 1 for every 10,000 regular cells. When you're middle-aged, you have 1 for every 400,000 to 500,000 cells. And when you're old, you have 1 stem cell for every 2 million cells. So folks, just imagine you have 1 appliance repairman that has to run around your entire country and fix everybody's appliances. There's just no way that he can keep up. And so when I heard about using a form of vitamin B3, a form of niacin, and a fatty acid called alpha lipoic acid, I thought, holy cow, can this really be real? So I started buying the ingredients and I started taking them. And I noticed, some results. About a year later, I was hanging around with Tom Maurer Sr. I was out at his house, and we were talking, and he said he's got an exciting new product that he's going to come out with that summer. And I kind of was thinking, I wonder if he's kind of leaning the same direction that I'm already leaning. And I said, does it have anything to do with nicotinamide riboside? And he kind of gave me a surprised look, and he said that's what he's working on. And when he came out with before he came out with the product, he asked me, so how many milligrams are you taking of this, and how many milligrams are you taking of that? And I told him, and he said, oh, double it, triple it, do this, do that. And holy cow, folks, I'll tell you what, I mean, the results that I started having were amazing. But really, when I started, when the age pill came out in July of that year, I grabbed a hold of it immediately, and I started taking it. And I'll tell you, the results that I got compared to what I was taking when I was kind of coming up with Kurt's formulation, right, my own formulation, the results that I started getting with the age pill it was just a dramatic change. I remember I was walking my dog Chewy. I've got a 10-year-old black lab, and he and I were out for a walk, and all of a sudden I started noticing that I was hearing things in the woods, back in the woods, as I was walking, and I noticed I could see the wildlife, the deer, the turkeys, the different birds, the owls up in the trees, things that I hadn't noticed before. And it wasn't because I was paying better attention. It was actually because I was more aware. And then I started noticing that my memory was coming back. I started noticing that I didn't have to have a pocket full of Post-it notes at the end of the day. You know how you just jot things down? You go, I got to remember to do that. So you jot it down, put a piece of paper, and guys, they'll just stuff it in their pocket, and by the end of the day, you'll have a pocket full of Post-it notes. I know you guys have done it too. It's not just me. I didn't have to do that anymore. All of a sudden, I could remember things. People would tell me their phone numbers, and I could remember their phone number. I'm like, holy cow, this is crazy. I'm 55 years old. And then I started noticing that I didn't have to wear my reading glasses to read. And I like to do a lot of my reading on my cell phone. I mean, I've got a computer, but it's just so much handier to use my smartphone. And so I sit there with my computer right alongside me, but I'm on my phone doing my computer work on my phone rather than doing it on my laptop. And I thought, that's crazy. I can read the screen on my little smartphone and without reading glasses. And and every so often I noticed I had to put my reading glasses on. Like my son was saying, you start to notice that it gradually goes away. And I'll tell you what, here I am now. I don't even know where my reading glasses are. I think they got broken or they got thrown away. 56 years old, like Zach said, we don't have vision problems in my family. I mean, my ex-wife, the boy's mom, none of my other two boys, none of us wear glasses, and except for my youngest son. And it's just crazy when you start thinking about it. Think about having the memory come back that you had when you were in college. That's the kind of memory I had. And people used to say I had a photographic memory. I don't think it was photographic because I couldn't, see pictures, but I could remember things really, really well. And now I got that back again. And this last month, Andrea McKinney and I have been spending the entire month on the Sisel Doctors Clinic calls, talking about dementia and talking about Alzheimer's. And think about it. The best way to cure it is not to get it. And if you could have the kinds of results that we're getting and then combine it with the brain vitality, with the phosphatidyl serine and the curcumins and the magnesium threonate that help with the brain and the memory. Think about the possibilities that we have. And the new studies that came out in April of 2018 that showed that you could reverse damage to the neurons in the brain with curcumin. And you just start thinking of the possibilities, folks. And the Alzheimer's Association is saying that by the year 2050, which is just, it's not really that far down the road, 30 years down the road, they're saying that the number of people with Alzheimer's is just going to skyrocket. And I was reading this morning online, and they were saying that if you know anybody that takes antidepressant drugs or drugs for ADD, you can almost for certain tell them that someday they'll have Alzheimer's. That's what the studies are showing. And I was listening to a symposium the other day on Alzheimer's, and they were talking about how all of these states and all of Canada have legalized marijuana. And they were talking about how, people say, well, there's no side effects to smoking marijuana. Well, the experts are saying that actually there are. It damages the hippocampus. And the hippocampus is the part of the brain that gets damaged with Alzheimer's. And so I don't know. I mean, to me, I'm just going to say the jury's still out on it. And for me, I'm going to err on the side of caution. And I'm going to tell the people that I talk to that, look, I don't know for sure. But if it was me, if I knew that there was a possibility that it could cause me to have Alzheimer's in the future, yeah, I'd probably think twice about it, So anyhow, here we are. We're at the bottom of the hour. I really appreciate your time. I appreciate you being here and being part of this. Have a great night, and this will be up on the Sisel Doctor Clinic page on Facebook, and it'll also be on the YouTube channel, so you'll be able to see it there as well. So it's very, very exciting to see what we're doing. So get this out, share it with people, and let's start seeing if we can make a difference. Thanks, everyone. Have a great night.